President Obama's plan would preserve the $5,500 maximum Pell Grant award for students, but it would eliminate the year-round grant. Last year, 24 tons of shelled corn, which is about 48 of these big plastic bags, cost farmers $3,000. The bill specifically references gun extension clips, like the kind that was used in the shooting that killed Gabe Zimmerman. Privately owned places like this lack the structure a public shooting range offers. Places like the Grove, which is feet away from the Yuma border, and places like border checkpoints, where sometimes only the K-9 can detect the odors of undocumented immigrants and illegal narcotics. People lining up outside, hoping for a day job. People selling family heirlooms.
People that pawn Rolexes that you just normally wouldn't think would be in the pawn shop.
Homes in foreclosure. All of the signs of an economy gone bad, which isn't news to Kevin Ranger.
Didn't see it coming. You kind of take things for granted, you know what I mean? Living a good life, having all the toys that we like, and then wake up and it's gone.
Kevin is unemployed and has been for 2 years. With a family of 6 in a one-bedroom apartment, not getting paid isn't an option anymore.
It's a terrible feeling to go back home and face your wife and say, there's nothing, you know. And you look at your kids and they're crying. Your baby need diapers, milk, anything. It's really rough. Come on back.
Kevin isn't the only Arizonan having a rough time getting by. Sometimes it seems the only business booming is the food bank business.
This is your basic traffic jam.
This time 2 years ago in 2008, we were distributing about 43 million pounds of food. Right now we're distributing about 72 million pounds of food.
As the line for help grows, so does the variety of people standing in it.
Folks who have never used the food bank before, folks who never thought they would be here, folks who were donors to the food bank up until the last 2 years are now coming to the food bank for help.
It makes you feel small. You can't do anything, you know, you can't go places. You can't buy your favorite shoes, you know what I mean? You gotta stick with the budget.
Because a job means more than the things a job buys.
It becomes a part of who you are, how you define yourself, especially in American society. Your next question after being introduced to someone is, oh, what do you do?
What am I gonna do? You know, I don't know, it's really hard.
For Kevin and so many others like him who don't want to wait in that parking lot every morning for a job, or sell their prized possessions, or lose their homes, they'll continue to wait for a chance to start over again. In Phoenix, Mallory, Kydd, Cronkite News.
Fowler's pitch. Grounded to shortstop. Anderson digs it up and throws him out. So SC is done in the second.
Jim Brock loved 3 things in life: playing baseball, coaching baseball, and watching baseball. And he did all of them with his wife, Pat.
Jim and I actually met in high school, North Phoenix High School, in fact. Jim graduated and went to Phoenix College, and it was at that time we began dating. And so he was in my life for 40 years.
And the majority of those years were spent together on the field. The family business, Pat calls it.
My children learned that that's the way our life was. We went to the ballpark at night.
And Pat was as much a part of the team as Jim was. Tim Esme, now head coach of ASU baseball, played for Jim Brock in the 80s, but answered to Pat, too.
Coach was, you know, the father figure, and Mrs. Brock was our mother when we were here. She took care of she took care of our travel, she took care of our academics, she made sure we were going to school. She even got to the point where if she thought we needed haircuts, she'd let us know.
Being the adopted mother wasn't Pat's only position.
I was like a wonderful administrative assistant, because sometimes when I would get up in the morning and I would be trying to get ready to go to school, he would say to me, "Can you type something for me before you leave?"
She also kept a scorebook.
I felt obligated to do it because probably 90% of the time when we would get home that night, Jim would say to me, "Be sure and leave your scorebook out," because he would wake up early and go in and recap the game.
It's been 17 years since her husband died of colon cancer, but Pat still comes out to support her team and fill in her scorebook, even though Jim doesn't look at it anymore.
She's ASU baseball, and I'm really excited. You know, now I see her every once in a while when we're playing, and I see her coming in, and it means something. It means something to me that she's still actively involved and feels, and I want her to feel like she was just as big a part of it, you know, off the field as Coach was on the field here.
His career in baseball, that was #1 with him. And I don't mind being #2. I really wouldn't change a thing. I'm proud to be a Sun Devil. I'm proud to have been married to Jim Brock for 38 years.
Everything's harder. Nothing's the same. Everything's different.
But the pain's actually not too bad now. When I first was hurt, it's pretty excruciating.
Staff Sergeant Thomas Janus's job was to find and disarm IEDs in Afghanistan. 3 weeks ago, on a Tuesday morning, his luck ran out.
I got out of the truck to make sure that everything was safe, and one of the IEDs actually detonated in my left hand, and then sustained quite a few injuries.
He lost his left leg, 3 fingers on his left hand, has severe burns on his body, and those are just the physical wounds.
Because obviously they're going through a life-changing experience, obviously not only physical, emotional.
IED explosions are the main reason why soldiers end up at the Brooke Army Medical Center. And although Thomas has many months of recovery, there are others down the hall who are far worse off.
As far as percentage burn, we had a patient who was 96% of his body, so it was pretty much his whole body. They had to do several amputations.
It will take a team of psychologists, rehabilitation professionals, doctors, and nurses to help Thomas have any sense of normal again.
No other hospital will get the trauma like we get, like the war, you know, from Iraq, from Afghanistan.
The war took his leg, but it did not take his heart.
I'm gonna be walking again, and I'll be up on my feet again someday.
We envy attitudes like that. That hey, keep that attitude. I'm not saying for you not to let us help you, but keep that attitude.
Thomas has more than medicine on his side. He has family.
He got here like a day after I got here, 2 days, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that helped me get through some of the rougher parts.
Once Thomas is healed, another soldier will lay injured in room 403. But you will not know who he is, what he sacrificed, and how his life will be changed forever. In San Antonio, Texas, Mallory, Kydd.